name is Marcos. I'm a developer out of Salt Lake City, Utah. That's right. I was born and grew up in Rio, Brazil. I'm here to speak about animations, more specifically, 5 animations that I believe that we should be aware of and actively looking for ways to implement it whenever possible. These animations are very simple to do within React, thanks to quite a few libraries that make it more accessible and easier to implement them. I actually started working with Pose about 2 weeks ago, and I'm a big fan. That thing is money. Those animations are actually quite common in modern web, so users know how to respond correctly to those visual cues. And they are not meant to impress the user, but they will make your UI look more lively, and more importantly, they're effective in assisting the user navigate through the experience more confidently and quickly. Now I'm going to show the 5 animations through some examples. The first animation is the hover animation. Now that doesn't make sense. Okay. But Gmail can kind of be a overwhelming UI, but one thing they do very well is they use the hover animation quite often. And one thing you see, for the most important things, they make the hover animation more showy. So not only the hover animation, you want to use it whenever you want to make something seem clickable to the user, and the more showy and flashy you make it, the more you impress that the most to the user that it's something that they actually should click on. I don't know why it looks so like this, but okay. The second animation is the sticky animation. The sticky animation is when you have elements that kind of stay with the user through the whole experience. So this is Kent's, Todd's new site on testing. You see here that he has this little sticky thing. And you use that to make it so that the user is aware of an important feature that you want them to make use of. The third animation is the skeleton loading animations, and they serve to replace the more standard spinning wheel animations that we've come to associate with failure and ultimately death, right? But we're not very optimistic once those things are loading, spinning for a while. On the other hand, when we see this, maybe, there we go, it gives us a sense that things are starting to load. We're a lot more patient and optimistic about the outcome. The fourth and fifth animations, they serve very similar purposes. I'm actually going to use this again. The fourth is the sliding animation, so make things move on Y and X directions, commonly used for side nav bars. And the fifth animation are opacity animations, so you make things show up and disappear out of the screen. This kind of uses both. So you see that kind of goes up, it slides up and down, and then also uses opacity. And you want to use this whenever you have some information, usually triggered by user action, probably a click. And it doesn't you don't have to take the user out of their current state, out of the current experience into a whole new screen or page, right? Or sometimes you press on things and it takes all the way down to the page or whatever. So with this, they are still exactly where they were when they made the action, and makes a far more seamless and a faster experience. Like I mentioned, those are very simple to implement. Here is an example of implementing the hover animation with Pose. And we saw this earlier today. Quite simple. And then the stick animation you can do with just plain CSS. That's how I was able to make something just like that using styled components. And in close, I want to acknowledge that this may seem trivial information, and it definitely is in terms of complexity. But as front-end developers, I think we live in the middle of this road that intersects with not only engineering, but as well as design and UX. And animations is one of those things that touch on all of those topics. It's something simple but effective, easily to overlook, but that I believe we should be more mindful of and looking to implement more often. Thank you.